Welcome back, guys, and welcome to Spooktober. So, all of October, what I plan on doing is I'm going to release a bunch of like Halloween themed decks, profiles, and strategies. And there would not be a proper October if it did not end with a little trick or treat. So, what I've decided to do, since I bought a decent amount of the Battle of Legends Armageddon, and I believe I opened a box of Battle of Legend Relentless Revenge on here, I do have a stack of just like foil cards that are either just extra or I'm never going to use them, just sitting on my shelf right now. So every week, all you have to do to enter this little giveaway is leave comments on my videos. You do not need to subscribe. You do not need to give me a thumbs up. All you have to do is give a comment. We're probably going to pick about 3 comments a week. So every week you are eligible. So there should be four full giveaways. I'm gonna give you guys like 3 or 4 cards or something out of the stack. We're just gonna shuffle it up. We're gonna pick the winners based on what makes us laugh, and by us I mean the rest of my team, or just if you have like good insight on how to improve a deck or improve a strategy. Honestly, every comment is eligible. You guys could just tell me I was bad and you still have a chance of winning. It's fine. But what we'll do is we'll notify you by going to your profile. Everybody's got a little discussions page like across the top. And what we'll do is we'll notify you there. Say, okay, you need to grab our email. All you got to do is go to my profile and find that in my like bio or whatever it is. You email me. We'll get your address. We'll go ahead. We'll send you guys some cards. And that's it. Now, for the real reason that you guys are here today, it's going to be our first spooky deck. And as you know from the title card already, we're doing Mayakashi Mills. So, normal format, let's get into it. Let's give you guys a deck list. And then what we'll do is we'll dismiss the class for anybody who just wanted the list. And then we'll talk over the discussion stuff afterward. So, we're going to run 3 copies of Daki Graceful Mayakashi. We're going to be running 3 copies of Hajun the Winged Mayakashi. We're going to run 3 copies of the good old boy Mizuki. We're going to run 3 very old copies, including this really beat to crap Ancient Sanctuary Soul Absorbing Bone Tower. And we're going to be running 3 Unizombies for our monsters. The rest of the deck is all spells. And what we're going to run is we're going to run 3 Books of Life, 2 Call of the Mummy, 1 Card Destruction, 3, but like 1 very beat up Dark World Dealings, so 3 of that. 3 copies of Double Summon, 1 Foolish Burial, 3 copies of Hand Destruction, 3 copies of Mayakashi Return, 1 Monster Reborn, A Day of Peace, 1 for 1, 2 Pots of Desires, and an Upstart Goblin. And that'll round out the main deck to 40. And in our extra deck, it's organized a little weird because of the way that I actually play this deck. So just trust me, there are 2 copies of Oboro Garuma, 3 Tsuchigumo, 2 and 2. All the synchros are 2s. So 2 Oboro, 2 Tsuchigumo, 2 Tengu, 2 Yoko, 2 Gashadokuru. I don't know. I usually call them out by their star levels. We're going to run 3 copies of the Link Yuki Onna, the Ice Mayakashi, and a singular copy of Yuki Ono, the Absolute Zero Mayakashi. And here's the additional 2 copies. So if you guys were just here for the profile itself, you guys are dismissed. Go ahead and leave a comment. This way you're entered. And let's get into what the effects really are. So we're going to start with Daki because she's one of the 2 linchpins in this deck along with the Soul Absorbing Bone Tower. They really make this mill possible. So you can only control 1 of these. When a Mayakashi monster or monster is a special summon to the field from the extra deck, while this is in the graveyard, except during damage step, you may special summon this card. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn that you activate this effect except Mayakashi's. And this is something that her and Hajun are both going to agree on. Now, when he is normal or special summoned, you special summon a Mayakashi from the deck. We're going to go for Daki. And you can only use that effect, once per turn. And again, you can't special summon from the extra deck except Mayakashi's. We're going to run 3 copies Mizuki because, again, Banish the card from the graveyard. Target a zombie in the graveyard. Special summon your target. Soul Absorbing Bone Tower can't be attacked if there's another zombie type on your side of the field. And every time a zombie monster is special summoned successfully, send 2 cards from the top of the owner's deck to the graveyard. That's very important, and we'll go over the math on that here in a minute. And my last boy is Unizombie, and he seems out of place, but I promise you he helps you get into the last form, but you don't always need to. And he's a good extender in case you have to play out of a bad situation. So you can target a face-up monster on the field, discard a card. If you do, increase the target's level by 1. Another effect that he has is you can target a face-up monster on the field, except one monster on the field. Monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of the turn, except zombie monsters. Then send 1 zombie monster from deck to discard, and if you do, increase the target's level by 1. Each effect is a hard once per turn. In a lot of other zombie decks, he's more useful. He's just really good to help us get to that last Mayakashi link. So there's our monsters. Book of Life is really easy. Target a zombie in your graveyard, 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon yours, banish theirs. Call of the Mummy is going to help you get 2 monsters on board, because once per turn you can special summon a zombie from your hand. You must control no monsters to activate to resolve this effect. Card Destruction helps you reload your hand and also mill out some of your opponent's deck. Both players have to discard their entire hand to draw the same amount of cards they discarded. Dark World Dealings. Each player draws 1, drops 1. So again, we're attacking their deck. Double Summon. You can only activate 1 of these per turn, or you can only gain the effect once per turn. Maybe you can activate more than 1 in a turn. But you can normal summon 1 additional time this turn. And again, we need that consistent ability to play at least Hajun and our Soul Absorbing Bone Tower. Foolish Burial. Send 1 from deck to discard. Hand Destruction. Each player sends 2 cards from their hand to the graveyard, then draws 2. We can attack the opponent's deck this way. But the real fault with this card is they have to have at least 2 cards in their hand for you to activate it. Because this isn't a game of do as much as you can. This is a game of follow the rules of what it says. So there will be times where you can't use it. Mayakashi Return. Take 1 Mayakashi card from your deck, except Return, and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. Only activate 1 of these per turn. And again, this one can block up your hand too, so don't worry about it too much. Everybody knows Monster Reborn. 1 Day of Peace. Each player draws a card, and neither player takes damage until the end of the opponent's next turn. This does attack the opponent's deck for a card, which is the real point. We don't care about ever dealing damage or attacking. And if you have to, and I've had to during our playtests, I actually had to go a second turn in order to complete my mill. So being able to know that I was immortal and I didn't have to put down cards that could get destroyed, it was good. 1 for 1, send a monster card from the hand to the graveyard, special summon a level 1 from the hand or deck. Pot of Desires. Banish the top 10 of your deck, face down, draw 2, activate 1 of these per turn. And good old boy Upstart Goblin. As you can tell, I've had some of these cards for a while. This one is from Magic Ruler, 3rd set in the game or 2nd set in the game, and it still says Magic on it. Draw a card from your deck and your opponent gains 1,000 life points. So that's going to, again, that rounds out the 40. Now, you don't really need to know the effects so much as you need to know the star levels. So you've got your 3, you've got your 5, you've got your 7, you've got your 9, and you've got your 11. And all you need to know is each time you play one of these, Daki comes back from the discard pile each time. The only one I would recommend recurring would be Tsuchigomo, because his return to the field, if special summoned from graveyard, you can have each player send the top 3 cards from their deck to the graveyard. And again, remember, in Yu-Gi-Oh!, if you can't draw when a card tells you to, you lose. Or at the beginning of your own turn. And then we're going to use Yuki-Onna in a way that's slightly different than most people play their links. And that is, most of the time you'll see a link to, and they will use it as 2 materials for the next link. But since it is 1 monster card, it may also be used as a single. So when we play the Yuki-Onna off the 11 star plus Daki, this is still a Mayakashi from the extra deck. Daki comes back, and you'll be able to use it to get into the next one, to get into the next one. And if you had 1 more card that wasn't your Soul Absorbing Bone Tower, you can go all the way to the absolute 0 Mayakashi. So now let me show you one test hand. And this was a hand that came up a couple of times last night. We were playtesting. I managed to win about 60% of the time. Let's get our spooky Halloween themed dual center out. And let me prep the hand that I had. And it was good. It doesn't always come up. But the times that it does, it is just good. Of course, I'm having an issue with my cards real quick. Because why wouldn't I be? So, give me just another half a second. Honestly, we could play it off these three. It doesn't even matter. But that wasn't how I played it. The worst part is I have this in alphabetical order. So, the hand was... I started the game. I had the 1-for-1. I had the Mizuki. I had the Call to the Mummy, the Hajun, and my soul-absorbing Bone Tower. And again, you didn't really need to have the Hajun, because what we're going to do here is pretty simple. You're going to use Call of the Mummy, get your normal summon. Then we were able to 1-for-1 for Hajun. And this is important because this is the first 2. And then 4. And I'm realizing I'm off frame for the discard pile. And the Mizuki was already loaded into the discard pile, which was important. So now what we did was... So that's 4. Now every time we do this, it's going to be another 4. And this is why this was set up this way, is because that's now 8 cards. Now it's 12. Synchronize again. Now it's 16. Now it's 20. Now it's 24. 28. 32. 36. And again, we can stop right there. 36 cards. The basic math of the game tells us that if we were playing, most opponents are going to play a 40-card deck. 5 cards have to be in their hand. They would be -1 card. You just end your turn. Now, this deck is very glass cannon. And what I mean is it's either going to work or it's going to shatter. We found out, well, I already knew, but during the playtest, Effect Veiler just kept rocking the soul-absorbing Bone Tower. And if you're not going first, chances are your opponent's going to be able to set up a Solemn Strike or Called by the Grave in order to just remove Daki from the loop itself. And so there were more than enough ways to counter this deck. So this is definitely a casual build. I definitely want you guys to try this out. Definitely have a little bit of fun with it. But this one is not competitive. I only got about a 60% win ratio. I'm not sure if I'd actually already said that. But it's fun. And in some times when that I'm playing this, I actually end up with Unizombie on board. And if you have Unizombie here at this end stage, because maybe you played something else, or you played the Unizombie to pitch somebody like the Hajun, and then you had Mizuki in your hand, you threw him too, so that you could special summon the Hajun to get to the Daki and do the loop from there. At this end stage, this is your 4 for your absolute 0 to go for another 4 cards on mill. So I do hope that you guys enjoyed this. I tried to keep this a little bit shorter. If you guys are interested in winning some of my cards, all I'm asking, make some comments. If you guys make us smile, that'll probably go a little bit further. If you guys make us spit milk out of our noses, even better. But I will see you guys with the next spooky video next time. Later.